Hey. How's my sound levels? Let's check the sound levels really quickly before we start. Can't check them in the preview. Any new microphone on its way. That music isn't overpowering. Alrighty. We are playing. Turn the music off. Drop the image. Oh, wait, can I drag display capture up? Yeah, we'll drop the image. We're playing a Planet Zoo. What up?
Oh, help!
Hey all. It's a bit bloody late at the moment, so my voice is a bit tired, but
Whoa?
got here. There's Sarah Crouch, my sister. There's old mate Adam, old mate Zach, my brother. Oh, we got Max. God, where's Max?
Whoa, here!
Oh my god. That's like 30 strides away. Good walk to see him. Goodwin's house. Okay, I don't know what to do. Build your zoos offline with full economy and changes. Build zoos all around the world. Let's just go sandbox.
Whoop!
What scenario zoo? Nah. Let's go. I don't know. Is there one for Oceania? Wait, tropical and Oceania? What? Yuzu. Yuzu for the win. If someone was type of chat, they could name it for me. Let's do this. Now I believe that this game's pretty old now. I don't even know when this came out. But I copped it anyways. Just because the kids like animals, you know. So let's make a zoo that they'll be proud of. You need a what? Need a staff room. You need to keep a hut. Alright. Quarantine. You need a quarantine. Raisler. I don't know how to play this game. I just jumped straight into it. Don't know how to play, by the way. Can we make paths before we place things? Construction. Barriers. Where? Can I just make a path? Where's the path? Oh, there. Far right. What the hell? Ooh. Just height. Shift. Arrows? What? Shift plus. Up, down. Up, down, up, down. Okay. Asphalt. Should we go asphalt? Boardwalk. God knows. A queue. What's this? Staff paths. How much cash we got? You can earn conservative. Wait, have we? Is it just like infinite? Well, it's no fun if it's infinite. Right, we'll change back. We'll change back and we'll make it medium. I didn't know it was gonna make us infinity rich.
Whoa! Yeah!
Tropical ocean. What's this? A medium difficulty. Animals never get bored of items. Guests won't request refunds. 5. Guest happiness rating requires an average happiness of. Alright. Does that make it unlimited? Where's the thing about the money? It's all about the money. Alright, we'll just go medium. And call it Sheep Zoo. Cause I'm a sheep. Trios. Yo, what's up, Max? Are those 3 hours you have on it, you're trying to make it record? Oh, no, I don't know what, like, I just went into it, showed the missus, I was showing Brittany, like, all the animals and shit, and we're just checking out the game. Cause she's into this, and, so I was like, oh, yeah, well, I'll show you, I'll have a look at it. And then, this is my first time actually playing it. Properly playing it. I don't know how much money I've got, I don't know how to check that. Apparently this doesn't cost me anything, but it says there it does. Have you played, Max? You've played this, eh? I think I was looking at your character before. I have no idea. You need to guide me through this, honestly. Staff room, I guess. Whoa. God, man, that's so accurate. That staff room is so accurate. That's what would be in a normal staff room. Oh, TV? Nah, not accurate. Not accurate. Oh yeah, noise. As lol, yeah, I like it as well. Bottom left corner. It says unlimited. Does that mean I've got infinite money? Because I don't want that. I was hoping to do a sandbox where I started with like enough cash to, you know. I don't want to be unlimited, you know. Alright, I'll show you. I can go top right. Minimize myself a little. Hopefully it doesn't look weird. Me being top right. You need to go to career. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, I basically copped this game for Brittany. Damn it, the delay's still heavy, man. I'm trying to get the delay down, but it's just not working. Career.
Yep.
Oh, tutorial. Okay, let's do tutorial. I was just playing around in it earlier. I'll just keep it medium. I'll keep it medium. We'll go in medium. Damn, man, it's so late. 2:07. God damn. No idea why I decided to stream so late. No, wait. Oh, shit. It's like a 22-second delay. I'm already, like, taking ages to load in. Alright, now it's loaded in. Franchise. That's what you want. Ah, okay.
Ah, heyo at Hematu.
Hey, yo. Sorry, we want franchise. We don't want you, Bernie, or whatever your name is. Yeah, I'm gonna type to you. Yeah, because I knew you were awake.
Hey.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Welcome to your franchise. What would you like to call it? Don't worry, if you don't like it, you'll be able to change it later. Let's call it... What should I call it? What should I call it? I'll call it... Yuzu. I'll call it Yuzu. Alright, what's this? Oh, you pick this, you wanna put it. New rewards, hell yeah. Okay. Can I put it in New Zealand? Can I put it in... Put it right here. Oh, that's convenient. It costs 100. I just got 100. Name zoo. Wow. Should I name this? Should turn the music thing back up a little. Okay. We'll go Oceania, tropical, Crouching Tiger. Crouching Tiger Zoo. Oh wow, I see. Oh wow, nice wordplay. Yeah. Crouching Tiger. Franchise management. Okay. Wait, can I change my picture? What's the badge? Oh. Oh, I love pandas. Panda's my favorite animal. Nice. Wait, can we change the banner as well? Panda's my favorite animal, yay! Something blue? Cool. NZ National Park. I think there's a place called that already. We'll call this Zoo Crouching Tiger. And then we'll and then you can come up for Max, you can come up for a name for the franchise. God damn, let's go with that one. Alright. Create. What's your favorite animal, Max? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, 40k. Alright, now give me a quick rundown. Tell me everything. Write an essay. I should have watched a YouTube video on how to start the basics. Bears are my favorite. What kind of bears? Just grizzly bears, or can you get different kinds of bears? We don't have bears in New Zealand. I mean, we do at the zoo, but... Oh, to the ground. Okay. Angle snap. Length. Can we not turn it into a junction? Does it have to bend like that? Tunneling. That's cool. Yeah, Grizzly boys are nice. Hell yeah, bro. I like bears. I like my favorite beer is the panda beer though. Oh, I see how to make junctions there. This. What the fuck? Hold on. Hey, $3 a piece. Yeah. Wait, is that only? Oops. Hey. What's it? Oh, okay. What's it doing that? Make an off-road for your staff. Oh, okay. Because they need to be a little bit away so the people don't see them. Like magicians. You can make a staff road. Oh, staff path. Okay. Does the staff path have to connect back up with the entrance? Like a road so people can get to it. Yeah, does this have to connect back up to the entrance? Spectre arriving in 22 minutes. Not ready. Not ready for you, bud. Okay. Oh, you can pause the game. Oh yeah, pause the game while we do this. Where's the... There it is. Alright. We're paused. We're not gonna get wasted. Oh, let's fuck with the terrain. Okay, probably shouldn't have done that. There's some lumpy boy there. That's some lumpy boy. Oh, it's hairy too. Oh. Okay, no, just the path. Let's work that one out. Okay. Staff room. Assuming. Okay, here we go. Workshop, vet surgery, trade centre, staff room, research centre, quarantine, and keeper hut. Okay. Yeah, boy. I guess I'll just put this in here. How do I rotate buildings? I should have done the tutorial way. Doesn't need to be that far, okay. Bottom left click the circle. You can see different stats on the map. This for heat. That's what we're talking about. Heat maps. Oh wait, okay. Habitat. Temperature, water, power, buildings. You can see the different stats on the map. Yeah, best to go tutorial first. Oh, so we'll go to the tutorial now. Alright, let's do it. We'll go back to the tutorial. Yeah, let's save. We'll just return straight back to it. No, that's good. It'll be too hard for you to explain everything through chat, Max.
Whoa.
Career,
Whoa.
start new. I guess this is the only tutorial, or is there a tutorial for building? Unless this tutorial is for building, then fucking oats.
Ah, heyo ad hematu. Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry about that. I have a habit of slipping back into the Planko language. It's good to finally meet you in person. I'm
Hey.
Bernard, although I
Nice to meet you.
insist you call me Bernie. The only person who calls me Bernard is my wife. And even then, only when I've tracked elephant dung into the carpets. As you know, I own several zoos, but I always like to show people the ropes here at my home. This is the first zoo I ever opened, and a source of great pride for me.
I want to
And
talk to you,
pride,
so
thanks
I
to a
wouldn't
lion
have to
breeding
type
program we
live.
ran in the 80s. But
But my
we're in the middle of a
grandpappy
big
using his
renovation,
chainsaw right
and that's
outside
where
my window.
you come in.
Gutted.
Sadly,
What's the
our old
time?
contractor had to retire after developing a fur allergy. Poor devil kept sneezing his dentures into the lion habitat. So, it's up to you to finish everything off.
It's up to me
Don't
to
worry,
learn
though.
this.
I'm not completely throwing you in at the deep end. My head keeper, Nancy Jones, will be lending a helping hand. Oh, she's a hard worker, and she'll expect you to be too. But I'm sure you'll get along like a house on fire, or even better, one that isn't on fire. Less shouting that way.
Hello there. From that rosy, fresh face of yours, I'm guessing you're Bernie's new hire. Good. Now, I hope you're ready to ditch your diploma because we're about to get really hands-on.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
But before we begin the real work, how about we familiarize you with the zoo by learning how to fly around it and visiting some of our beautiful animals? We'll start by popping over and having a look-see at the grizzly bears in their habitat.
Hey, Max,
Did you
who's your
know
beers?
that grizzly bears, also known as Ursus arctos horribilis, can hibernate for up to 7 months a
7
year?
months, that's right.
Oh, but then again, given the chance, I think a lot of
40.
people would do that too.
Oh, lucky boy, you still got the afternoon.
Select one of
Oh,
the
you just
bears
dropped
and you'll
some.
bring up its information panel.
Yeah, I see it.
This is where you
Oh,
can
he's on
find out
welfare.
all kinds of information about your animal. The most important thing being its overall welfare. You'll learn more about animal welfare today as we go through your objectives. But for now, let's enjoy this magnificent animal. Why don't you select the camera at the bottom of its information
Oh,
panel?
God, that's sick. That's
See now, this is a fantastic way to get a close look at your animals. You can also get this view of an animal by simply double-clicking on it.
Oh, well, that would have been easier.
Okay, when you're ready, let's pop over to the other side of the zoo and take a look at the lions. I've marked their location for you to find.
Oh, that's so much easier. I was trying to look at the animals earlier today, and I was looking at, I was trying to zoom in on them, and I just couldn't. The hippos look hilarious when I saw them. Alright. Her talking real loud, so you can wait, let her speak, and then you can. Okay. So cute, yet deadly, yeah, you're so right. Deadly if they're threatened. See a lot of the young ones, the black bears,
Panthera leo leo, or the West African lion to you and me. Lions are the most social of the big cats, and there can be as many as 40 lions in a pride. Although prides of that size are pretty rare. As Bernie would say, those lions are awesome, which is precisely why I handle the training instead these days. Anyway, how about we get started on those objectives? Come on, let's head over to an empty habitat and see what needs doing there.
I'll be back in a second. my daughter's just woken up. And yeah, I might. What's up, Jack? What I miss? Where's Malcolm? This isn't what I said. Facism? For you, baby awake. Yeah, Jazz woke up. I don't know how she's gonna be, if she's gonna go back to sleep. Depending on that, I might have to end the stream. I really don't want to, but I'm just
As you can see, it's a lovely
Shush,
space for
Nancy.
animals, but it's missing a certain something.
So I'm just gonna go make her a bottle, Max and Jack. If you're still there, I'll just go make her a bottle and see if she'll go back to sleep. But I'll quickly come straight back after.
Well, two somethings. Warthogs. So I'd like you to adopt a pair of them. To adopt animals, we need to open the animal market, which is in the animal trading section.
Is that? Oh, right.
There we are, a pair of perfectly splendid warthogs for our zoo. Just click on them and select Adopt from the side menu. Normally the animal exchange would be full of animals, but I've emptied out the market while you learn how it works. The last thing I need is you accidentally ordering a dozen elephants.
Oh, a dozen elephants. Aren't that bad?
When you adopt an animal, it's automatically placed in the trade centre, where they're held until you're ready to move them into their habitat, which, as it happens, you are. So how about you move them into their new home?
Where's that? Centre Zoo?
When you ask for an animal to be moved into a habitat, your caretakers will go to the trade centre, collect your animal, and deliver them to your selected habitat. I've marked the trade centre's location, so let's go and watch the caretakers in
I
action.
can start my stream. Yeah, I could do a midnight stream onward. I was expecting her to stay asleep for another 2 hours, so I'll go start the grill up. Oh, that's the one, bro. What are you cooking? Let me know what you're making before you go, because I like to know what people are eating. I like to mimic people's food, because I actually used to be a cook, but wow, there's these boxes in here. Actually, wow. Yeah. Alright, I'll be back. I'll let you know if I have to end it when I come back. up and starts running around the house after in the stream, but as we are right now, she's having a bottle watching some cartoons. So hopefully she goes back to sleep. Welfare's low on these guys. What do you want me to do next? Damn it, I missed it. Scroll right out, see if oh yeah, right here. Good eyes, good eyes.
Well, as you can see, those caretakers don't hang about. They'll move those animals to their destination as fast as possible. Of course, normally we'd have to place the animals into quarantine before moving them into a habitat, but I am assured by a person of good standing that these warthogs are in the very rudest of health. Right, let's get the warthog's habitat finished up so we can keep them nice and happy. You see, each animal in the zoo has an overall welfare statistic, basically how happy they are. And that overall welfare statistic is itself comprised of 4 different areas: nutrition, social health, habitat, and enrichment. Luckily, if you select an animal, you'll bring up their animal welfare information panel, which we saw earlier, where you can see how they're doing. That way, you'll know exactly what areas need to be addressed. Don't worry if that's a lot to remember. You can always check the Zoopedia for more information. Let's start by making sure we're taking care of the warthog's nutrition welfare. To do this, we'll need to place a food station and a drinking station. Now, each animal requires a different type of feeding station. And for the warthogs, it's a small feeding trough. So let's add one of those and a water bowl. Animals also require stimulation to keep them happy. Let's add a lovely mud bath for the warthogs to roll around in. That bath will count towards their enrichment welfare, specifically their toy enrichment welfare.
Bruh, that water bowl's got fucking ground in it.
Oh, nice work. You've got a knack for this, I see. Now, our contractor had to leave in a hurry, so this place is in a feral state. Unfinished thingamajigs and whatsits all over the shop. But the first thing we need to finish is the ostrich habitat. It's over near the hippos.
You're a hippo? What? Ah, I see what you mean.
Oh, before we actually start building our ostrich habitat, let's pause the game. Just click the pause button in the bottom right corner.
Assumptions now.
Ah, that's more like it. A quick break. Sometimes it's a good idea to pause the game whilst you're doing something which requires your concentration, because it'll stop the zoo spinning out of control while you're looking the other way. Let's keep the game paused while we get this ostrich habitat built. Okay, job number 1 here is to add a habitat gate before we complete the barrier. Every habitat needs a habitat gate. After all, how else would the keepers get in and out? Just make sure it's hooked up to the path so the keepers can reach it.
Sorry, just checking my PayPal. I got a message from PayPal. I thought it might have been a donation. I was like, what the hell? I get a donation? But no, it was because I donated to someone earlier. The receipt might have lagged on the way through. What she want me to do? Extend the barrier? Okay. Oh wait, I'll put a door on it. I'm assuming. Obstructed? What? Oh, what'd she want? I should have listened. I should have listened. Please talk to me. Where's my mission? Bruh. What's free look mode? Sit back. Okay. Where's my missions? Oh, here? Bruh. I have to... Bruh. Baba boy? I'm gonna have to rewind the stream and hear what she said.
Built. Okay. Job number 1 here is to add a habitat gate before we complete the barrier. Every habitat needs a habitat gate. After all, how else would the keepers get in and out? Just make sure it's hooked up to the path so the keepers can reach it.
Okay. Thank God for my own stream. Okay. If I was alone, I would have quit just then and went like, "What the hell? Like, this game didn't tell me what to do." Barriers. Oh, there we go. Then we got a little bit of indigestion. There you go.
Right! Let's complete the perimeter barrier so we can adopt us some ostriches. I've marked out an area for you to use, so I'd like you to finish off the perimeter using the brick barrier.
I don't know. I know some ostriches, and they're not the best. Are they basically dinosaurs? How old is the ostrich? You know, like... Oh man, that doesn't feel smooth. Baba boy.
Good work!
There we go.
Remember, before you can place animals in any habitat, it has to have a full loop of connected barrier.
Yeah.
Now, you've probably noticed that guests can't actually see into this habitat at the moment. At least not without a stepladder.
Screw them.
But seeing as they're banned, I'd like you to select a piece of barrier and swap out the brick for a glass barrier, so the guests can see in.
Right there. Wait, what? Oh, I'm so confused. What have I done? Highlight a section of barrier and then click the glass barrier in the browser to swap it. No. No. Oh, bro, what the fuck have I done? Excuse my language. I was trying to keep my language safe during this one.
There we go. Adding in more windows gives guests even more opportunities to see the animals in a habitat. It's always best to make sure the guests can get a good view into a habitat from the path they're walking on, because it makes them happy, and because this would be a pretty terrible zoo if they couldn't.
It's
The
all about
last thing we need to do is to add a donation box. You see, when guests enjoy the view of an animal, they'll make a donation.
all that.
Just make sure you put them in easy-to-reach places, like near a viewing point. Donation boxes are one of the main sources of income for the zoo, so make sure you remember them.
Okay. Funny actually, I was on this earlier and I seen them people using these donation boxes.
Now, before we adopt our
thought the
ostriches,
frame
you should click the
rubbish away.
play button. After all, if the game's paused, then so are our caretakers, which will make it a bit tricky for them to deliver the ostriches, eh? By the way, as well as pausing the game, you can speed the game up by clicking on the fast forward button. It'll run everything at 2 times and 5 times faster. It can be useful, especially if you're waiting for money to accumulate or for animals to be delivered to your habitat. Personally, I use it when I'm waiting for a brew to finish.
Damn
All
it,
right,
Jack.
you've finished the
Okay.
habitat, so it's high time we adopted those ostriches, don't you think? Let's get 4 of them in here.
Thank God. You know what we say about ostriches? Let's get 4 of them in here. That's what we're always saying about ostriches. Now quick select.
While we wait for them to be collected by the caretakers and brought to the habitat, you should get it ready for them. Add a suitable feeding station, water station, and an appropriate food enrichment item. It's often best to place things like enrichments and feeding stations near to the habitat perimeter, so guests can get a really good view of the animals.
Already on that. What else do we need? This. Water truck. How do we rotate items? Shift raises it. Control, shift. Hold up. Look at all them ostriches. Look at all them chickens. There are them chickens. How do we rotate items? Let's find out. Settings. Game. Interface. Graphics. Camera. Audio. Controls. Last one. Wait, it's always the last one. Rotate and rotate 90 degrees. Okay, Z. There we go. Oh, is that off the bloody ground? What? Why'd it let me do that? That's crazy. We'll keep it a habitat. Move it, bruh. Put some... Let's put it there. Yeah, boy. Yeah, baby. Let's just do that so we can fill it up. Is that what it does? Yeah. Hell yeah. Oh. What the hell is this thing? Wait. You keep it on route. Get off that, man. It's everyone else got a drink out of that. Oh, I hope you're sanitized. Ew. What are we doing? Oh, we gotta add something else. Habitat. Oh, toy. We need food. Yeah, right there. Right there, eh? Oops, why am I rotating? Like that. Z. No. Shift. Hey. Got one.
Oh, good to see the ostriches have somewhere they can really stretch their legs. Did you know
Really?
they can actually run at 43 miles per hour? Oh, heaven forbid they ever escape. The speed camera fines alone would bankrupt us.
Yeah, no, we did know that actually.
Well, Bernie certainly seems impressed. Did he do his speed camera joke? Every time we get an ostrich.
Did he?
So, now we've made the ostriches' lives a bit better,
Did he do a
let's
speed
do the
camera
same for
joke?
the keepers, shall we? To make
I
it
didn't hear
easier
this
for the
talk too
keepers to
fast.
feed the ostriches and hippos, we should build a new keeper hut.
Damn.
Keeper huts are where the keepers prepare the food for animals. So they should be placed near to the habitats to make sure the keepers don't waste their time walking when they should be looking after the animals. You'll need to rotate the keeper hut to get it to
Oh, yeah.
connect up to the path.
Oh, real. Why didn't you tell me rotations when I was trying to put the food in? Oh, the food and drink water bowls. That would have helped.
This keeper hut only has space for one keeper, but the larger keeper hut can allow multiple keepers to prepare food at the same time. Oh, but bear in mind that keeper huts and other staff facilities shouldn't be placed near to areas where there are lots of guests. Guests don't like seeing facility buildings, and it can affect their happiness. Negatively. In case that wasn't clear. Something that all facilities, shops, and a whole host of other objects need is power. And that obviously includes your newly built keeper hut. So let's place a transformer next to it, shall we? Now, the reason everything has gone blue is because you're using the power heat map. This map allows you to see what is and what isn't powered in your zoo. So, once you've placed your transformer, you can click in the bottom left to turn the heat map off.
Okay. Does it have to connect? Yeah.
Lovely work. Now the keepers can start using the hut to prepare food, and thanks to where you've put it, they won't need to walk very far to deliver it to the ostriches and hippos. Let's get on to your next objective then. Bengal tigers. We want to adopt some, but I'm afraid there's nothing ready for them yet. Head on over to the plot of land I've marked out. It's not too far away.
Hey, big boy. That's a big fish, man. Mishka, you big fish, man. Alright. There.
Righty, your next job is to build a habitat from scratch. And concrete and glass, I expect. So, go ahead and build it. Just make sure that the habitat includes that big hole we've dug. Oh, and don't forget to add a habitat gate to the barrier. Oh, and make sure the guests will be able to see the tigers.
Hell. Can't I place it? Can I shorten it? Eesh. Let's get it on point. Everything is on point. Yeah. Fences looking high. Bengal tigers won't be able to get out. Everything is on point. Yup. Can't complain on how my tigers live in. It's Bengal tiger though. Bengal. That's what we always say, you know. When you got a tiger, you got a Bengal. Everything is on point. Yeah, let's do that. What? I wish you talk about me. Okay. What? Oh well, boy. How we delete fences? We just go like this. Like, yeah, baby. Yeah, baby, a triple. Okay. the food dude. This side. Oh, yep, no, yeah, this is...
Now, Bernie takes safety very seriously at his zoos, so we should probably make sure those tigers can't jump out of their habitat, don't you think? The way we'll do it is by changing the height of the habitat's barrier. Okay then, you should start by double-clicking the habitat barrier, which will take you into barrier editing mode. Great. Now highlight the entire perimeter of the habitat. You can do that by clicking and dragging the barrier selection tool.
Okay. Could you not make it more simple?
Now you've got all of the perimeter selected, you can increase the height of it by clicking and
Yeah,
dragging the
can't do it on the
barrier
grill.
height tool upwards.
What are you cooking,
You'll want to
brother?
make sure it reaches a height of at least 3.7 meters.
Drag this widget. What's the widget? Eh? Oh, that widget. Did she say 3.7? Let's go 4.
Now that the habitat is in place, don't forget to put down a donation box near to your viewing areas.
Okay.
We need every dollar we can get. Especially as these tigers aren't exactly eating instant noodles for lunch.
Aren't they? Why not? So- Bruh. That's how you maximize profits. Imagine that. Imagine that. That's where they're sleeping quarters. What? Can't do that with that base. Okay, maybe because there's no path next to it. Why are you red now? What have I done? I'm always doing things, what the hell? Okay. Okay. Add a donation box. Oh, wait. Yeah. What, just one?
Okay, that's the habitat boundary complete, the habitat gate in place, and most importantly, the tigers won't be able to jump out of it anymore. I think it's time we adopted those tigers.
Hey, put your wallets in here, we'll look after them. Adopt a place 2 new Bengal tigers. Adopt and place, sorry. Okay. Come here, Bengal tiger 1 and 2. Wow, 12,500. 10,500. How old are they? 8 and 9 years, and they're worth that much. Yeah, it's going well, bro. I'm working it out. I think I can run my own one now. The only thing I need to worry about is structure. So like how the staff get around. Are the staff allowed to walk on the main paths? You're just not allowed. I kinda get it. So each habitat just needs its own staff path where the facilities and power boxes are and stuff. Oh, if you run it, okay, you run a staff path right through. I kinda get it. And staff can walk on the... Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's just gonna be a little bit hard to do that from scratch. Because you don't know, like, if you can plan the whole zoo out from the start, then maybe. If you lay blueprints down for all the habitats, then I'd figure it out straight away, but we're gonna work it out as we go. But what are we doing now? We're waiting for them to show up. No, we haven't placed them, goddammit.
Whilst our trusty caretakers collect and deliver the tigers, let's take a look at preparing the habitat for their arrival. We'll start with the basics. Add a suitable feeding station for them.
Feeding station over here. Bum bum bum. It's a feeding station. Z to make it 10. Woohoo.
This time, instead of adding a water bowl, let's try something different.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Some animals need a pool in their habitat so they can go for a swim, but they can also use it to drink from. All you have to do is make sure the banks of the pool have a gentle slope so they can easily get a nice, refreshing drink. There's already a pool excavated, but you still need to fill it with water.
Gentle.
You should do that by going into terrain and selecting the water tool.
Away as in the water tool.
Snow. It's full of snow. Calm water, rough water. You can choose.
Yes, that'll do nicely. Of course, just like the warthogs and ostriches, these tigers will also need some enrichment. Why don't you add some suitable toy and food enrichment items into their habitat?
Bear. That ain't no pool. Just gonna set that up. What? No, legit not here. Bruh. Oh, there we go. Oh, I took it away. He giveth as he taketh. You can have the water. Baby bull tiger. We'll need place to Hey. Maybe should have placed that close to the donation boxes.
Okay, it's really starting to take shape.
Oh yeah, let's
Now,
look at
the tigers will need a shelter in their habitat so they can hide from the guests, or more likely, the bad weather. Although, given that we're in England, you
more
might
likely
want to
we
think of
talk
that
about
just as
forcing
normal
you
weather.
out from guests.
Go on, add a shelter to their habitat. You can either build one from various suitable bits and bobs, or if you like, just pop down the blueprint that I've already built for you.
Blueprints for life, Amy. I thought over here was going to be a good spot, but yeah, I'm thinking. Okay, let's think first of these things too. Light monitor. No, taller monitor. Where the hell should I put this? Above a boy? I don't know where to put it. Oh my god, that's terrible.
Oh, poor Dabs. I'm sure it can't have escaped your attention that the tigers look a bit miffed. That's because they aren't too keen on the type of terrain in their habitat. Select a tiger and bring up its information panel.
What does she want me to do? Editing Planet Zoo, small shelter. Yeah, no, that's good. Thank you. I want better terrain. This? If you're watching this on playback, by the way, thank you so much. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. We'll do some of this tomorrow, Max. Definitely. I'll finish the tutorial off on my own. Maybe play the campaign if I get time. And until the next stream, which I'll try do it midnight tomorrow, but I might also do a day stream as well. Slowly getting this. Can I just, what was the thing to rotate it? T, R, F, G, G, oh that's cool, like that. G does that, C, I know this, that rotates that. Put that up top. Put that up top. Oh yes I can. Boy. I didn't know what she wants. She said something about the terrain. Kitty cats don't like the terrain.
Rightio. Click on the Terrain tab. That way you can view the terrain information and see how they feel about the different types of terrain. That'll tell you what the tigers need more of or less of in this habitat. Okay then, open the Terrain Editing tool, select Painting, and give them some more soil. Yes, that should help with the habitat part of their welfare. Right then, all animals need plants and trees from their own biome or continent. You know, deserts, savannas, or Asia, Europe, that sort of thing. It looks like these tigers need a few more plants in their habitat. To get a perfect fit, use plants from the rainforest and temperate biomes that are native to Asia. Although if you have to, you can get away with using just one or the other. The tigers will also want a certain amount of their habitat to be covered by those plants. To find out which plants to use and how many, select a tiger and go to the Environment tab. Now, as you can see, some of the plants currently in the habitat aren't quite right for the tiger, like the wattle bushes. You can remove them if you want. You can find all of the plants you need in the nature section, and you can use the filters to only show the types of plants you want to see. In this case, that's plants from the rainforest or temperate biomes.
How we filter it? I think I know all of them. Yeah. There's Daisy. Yo. Hey? Yeah. What's up? I can. Hold up. Whoa. Okay. Alright, I'm just gonna end the stream. If you're watching this on playback, or Max, if you're still around, anyone's still around, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell icon. And down in the description below there's a Discord link. Click on that to come join the Discord, so you know when I'm online, whether I'm live or not, and have a chat, play some games together, figure out what games we're gonna stream, all that shit. And yeah, no one really uses the Discord. It's just there just in case people want to contact me at the moment, and it does notify people when I go live. I don't think many people use the Discord anymore, so that's a rip. I'm gonna continue with this off stream. Why is my thing like that? Did I press? What I pressed to do it smooth. That's annoying. There. Yeah, that's a lot easier. Oh, look at here, big baby. Bagel Tiger. Bagel Tiger. Good Bagel Tiger. Alright, watch the VOD. Oh, cheers, Max. I will, yeah. I'll catch you next time. Especially you, Max. I'll try and stream from midnight tonight. And if not, I will. Oh no, I'll also do a daytime stream. Not sure how long, maybe 2 hours. And then we'll try and do a longer nighttime stream. And we'll see how it goes. Can't really hear nothing over the music. What music? Hold on. Why is it doubling up? Is it my voice is doubling up? It's picking up through the camera. Is it background music? Here's the Discord anyways, it updates everyone when I go live. Are you on this Discord, Max? I don't think you are. But yeah, the link's in the description below. Yeah. Alright, I'll end it there. Thank you, Max, so much for watching, and Jack for coming through. And I'll see yous tonight. Cheers. How do I do this? Hold on. Scene. Can I drag up another image? Boom. Say bye bye. Say bye bye. God. Say bye. Say bye, Ronald. He's not saying shit. I promise he's not a captive. He can leave whenever he wants. Where the hell is my music? I haven't got all my stream pictures. I had a overlay that says something like thanks for watching and blah blah blah, but I didn't put it on. So we're gonna listen to music and watch Ronald send us out.